Hey Kara, let's take a look at your week. We're going to look at your week 1 assignment 2 and your assignment 3 in the same crit here. They're very related to each other, so there's a lot of things I think we can talk about when we're talking about one or the other. Just start off with assignment 2 first. Very good, I think, job. Both of these are actually very good, but when we're looking at this one, a very good job. I think a good start. Side to side looks very good. You've got great coverage. It's very even, and it's doing what it should be doing in that it's much darker than the blind that we're seeing up top in both cases. And so this tells me that you're really going in and saturating the page a lot. The side to side tends to be, I think, the more difficult of the two because you have to deal with the edges, I think, a lot more than you do with the blind. So I thought you did a really nice job of it. The Venetian blind looks good. I think your red is looking a little bit better than your lighter blue. There's a few more kind of gaps that are bigger in the lighter blue, and there seems to be just a few kind of multi-overlaps or overlaps where you're kind of going over a stroke maybe a little bit more than what we're seeing with the red, which are very just kind of thin, darker lines, which is perfectly fine. And the white is kind of minimized as well. Colored pencil stuff looks great. I think you're doing a great job of experimenting with the colored pencil, using darker colors, lighter colors, white, and seeing how color mixtures occur. The red over the blue is really a nice touch on that one. And there's a lot of variety to them. The fill underneath also looks very good. It looks like you're kind of getting the hang of the side to side even as we move into these assignments. The shape ones are also very strong. I think that we're trying as best you can to minimize very large gaps of white. And I think a lot of that just is taking your time, especially as you start to get into these weirder kind of areas like angles on an object or things like the circles or in tight spaces. So the gray one doesn't seem like it has much of any of that occurring. You're doing a great job of cutting your edges, good edge quality, and consistently laying in the stroke so that it feels very flat and even. The colored one, we're seeing a lot more of the white showing up, although you're keeping the very good cutting of your edges. Some minor edge kind of quality issues we're seeing every once in a while, but nothing that I think is that big of an issue. The side to side in both cases are doing a great job of getting very consistent coverage. You got to watch out that you're going all the way up to the edge though on the shapes so that you don't get this halo occurring. And we're seeing that in the gray, we're seeing it in the darker gray or the black, I guess, and we're seeing it just a little bit in the yellow in some of the shapes. And maybe in the blue as well. And this is something that you need to, be cognizant of, and you have to kind of really put in a lot of effort to get it all the way up to the edge. Not saying that you're not putting in the effort, I'm just saying like it takes a lot of, I guess, it takes a lot of willpower to risk it, because the closer you get to the edge, I know the more you're going to have the chance of altering the symmetry of the shape or the edge quality. But you have to kind of tough it out and just try to get as close as you can to it. Cutting helps, but cutting is only one layer of marker, and a side to side is just layer over layer over layer of marker. So it's just something that you kind of get used to. I've told some people that you can make multiple cuts. Like if you're gonna cut, say, the triangle, you can go 1, 2, 3. One cut over the over and over again, and that's going to make it darker, and that'll hopefully match a little bit of what's going on in the inside. With the circles, you can't really do that in quick succession. I think you have to take your time a little bit more, or you just have to go all the way up to the edge. But that for me is probably the two main things. Little white gaps are fine. Very, very thin gaps like up here are fine, but big chunks of white you want to try to avoid. And just try to take your time and go a little slower, and keep an eye on it, and then making sure that you have the edges filled all the way up to the end, which is, you'll see if you look at your peers' work, it's pretty common, both of those things, so nothing to worry